Tragedy, controversy, scandal, and mayhem. Lamont Roach, his team, they are dissatisfied. And they are trying to appeal with the New York State Athletic Commission, the Gervonta Davis outcome that saw him receiving a draw, majority draw. So he didn't lose, but he also didn't win. And he didn't win that WBA title from Tank Davis. This is what I want to talk about in this video. Listen, Roach is requesting that New York Athletic Commission declares him the winner of the Tank fight. Dan Rayfield reported this is what he's petitioning. He has like lawyers involved. Lamont Roach's attorney, Greg Smith, I think he works with Canelo, sent a letter to the Athletic Commission director Tuesday requesting the commission review Roach's controversial majority draw against Tank, PBC, Brooklyn, New York. A 4-page letter, a copy which was obtained by Fight Freaks Unite, calls for the commission to overturn the results of the fight and declare Lamont Roach, who is the reigning WBA junior welterweight titleist, the, quote, true winner of the bout, either via TKO due to Mr. Davis's removing himself from the bout or being disqualified for carrying an illegal irritant into the ring, or via decision after scores have been adjusted to reflect the knockdown. The commission said in a statement on Monday it was reviewing issues surrounding the sequence, faulty technology. I'm not reading all this, bro. Listen, I'm going to be as direct as possible. That's the best method for me. This is a complete and utter waste of my time. The fact that I am spending time out of my day, I get paid for content now. I am a content creator. To even talk about this, I don't even want to make this too long. This is, to me, a waste of time. Now, that being said, I don't work for anybody. I work for myself, which means I am not part of the New York State Athletic Commission. I do not know how they will elect to handle this and what ruling they will give. You know, it's kind of similar, but different, to Ryan Garcia after he popped and it was later found the ostring was in his system, but the fight had already been concluded. So we don't really know what was going to happen in the Haney Garcia, how they were going to handle it. And fair play, I don't know how they're going to handle this. This is still a waste of my time. And I'm going to explain why. Sometimes in life you can have voices and they'll advise you to do certain things. It's not necessarily in your best interest, but if those voices grow loud enough, you get prompted to pursue. Like, man, you have a real case here. You should appeal it. And that's what Lamont Roach has decided to do. For me, it's foolish, and I'm going to explain. So I don't know the outcome. Fair play. Full disclosure. This is stupid. And I'm going to explain why, to me, it is stupid. Now, I don't think there's really anyone doubting the fact that this could have been handled differently, right? What Tank did was bizarre. It was abrupt. And in real time, it wasn't something that was initially understood by anyone, right? So I give you that. It was just a weird sequence of events. The referee in charge of things was Steve Willis. He is paid by the same commission that is now receiving this appeal. He is being paid to officiate a bout. He is a competent referee, right? in the heat of battle on a major pay-per-view. Tank is the biggest American star by a long shot. He did the best he could given the lack of information and what was known, and he tried to resolve the situation. You know, he started counting, stopped counting. He didn't know what was going on. This is human error. So I get that. The man is a human and he made a human error. But now, because Tank is so big and you got race fans and a lot of haters, they're going above and beyond to try to like put a blemish on his record for a fight because of this knee thing. And to me, it's really rather corny and lame. Just run the rematch. Lamont Roach did better than people expected. I get it. It's boxing. Wasn't the outcome that you want. Run the rematch, you know, and you move on and see what happens there. Period. All this stuff is extra because if we open the floodgate to start reversing things that were already done, the fight is over. They're already doing press conferences for other fights. People have probably been paid. The locker room has been cleaned out. The fight is over. So my fear here is if this becomes a standard, like hypothetically, let's say I don't believe they'll overturn it, but again, I don't work for the commission because I think it's stupid. So I don't think it'll get overturned. My personal opinion, could be wrong, could be right. We'll see. I don't work for them. But if we open this floodgate to people appealing because they don't like the outcome, then we would have to look throughout all of boxing for many, many years and start challenging several outcomes, because this was not the first blunder. This was not the first blip that we've seen in boxing. So if they overturn this, then they should overturn Usyk getting a win over Daniel Dubois, because that too is controversial. I believe Daniel Dubois landed a clean body shot. The officiating ref didn't, and he said it was a low blow, and he gave up to 5 minutes for Usyk to recover. Usyk milked it, took as much time as he wanted, and up to the 5 minutes, and got back to it, recovered, and ended up knocking out Daniel Dubois. So for me, that was controversial. And it's not just me. Anybody who's watching the fight, there's other people that share the belief. So if we're going to overturn Tank's majority draw, that doesn't count as a loss. It doesn't count as a loss for Tank, and it's not a loss for Lamont. Instead of just running a rematch, and then now you want to switch to a TKO. The times where I've seen fights after the fact overturned is if someone tests positive for a banned substance. As of me recording the video, I haven't heard of any fighter in this main event testing positive for a banned substance. So why would they overturn it, right? There are, in all sports, blown calls. I've seen football games. We're talking about playoff games where a call could have been made. Like the whole 2024 football season, people talked about the Kansas City Chiefs getting all the calls from the referees. But guess what? None of those games were overturned, right? Like, let's say the Kansas City Chiefs are playing against a team and that team is in the lead, right? The team is in the lead and they kick a field goal, and in the field goal, they make it. But then the referees who are officiating the game say there was a holding call, you got to redo the kick, right? And then the second kick, Kansas City blocks it, and then they end up losing the game. If that was a blown call and it wasn't really holding, when have you ever seen the NFL go back like retroactively and say, hey, a mistake was made, there was no holding call, so the first field goal should have counted, and now this other team won the game? Like, it's just, to me, it's corny, and I could do this all day. Mike Tyson, His first loss was to Buster Douglas. And in that first loss, Buster Douglas was truthfully knocked out. He got knocked down and the referee administered a very long count, right? Buster Douglas finally gets up after this long count and he goes on to reverse it and stop Mike Tyson. So Mike Tyson should have never took that loss if the referee didn't make a mistake. So I'm giving you boxing examples of all these mistakes that have been made, right? Carl Froch fought George Groves, premature stoppage. But they did a rematch. Froch knocked him out again. You put it to bed. But the first fight, there was a premature stoppage and so on and so forth. Wilder knocks out Tyson Fury and then it goes to a draw. I think Tyson Fury in the first fight was given a long count. And when considering the fact that Tyson Fury was asleep and unconscious, Jack Reese probably should have just waved it off. So I really think it was the Wilder won by knockout. However, the referee in charge didn't share these same ideologies or viewpoints, and he was the running the show. So now we got a trilogy out of it, and then Wilder came up short in the second and third fight with Fury. That's the solution here. All this overturning. So you really want to beat Tank on a technicality in a bizarre situation? I don't expect Tank Davis to have hair grease and braids in his eye and all that stuff again. It was a freak accident. The referee responded in the best way he knew how. And because Tank, there's so many people that hate and have disdain, they're trying to make a mountain, a mountain out of this. It's a molehill trying to make a mountain out of this. And to me, it's just corny. Lawyering up, like, you'll feel better. And here's the thing is if Tank loses by TKO, gets it overturned, and Lamont Roach is deemed the winner. Okay, what does that mean, bro? Tank said he don't care about belts. This would, to me, it'll be like John Jones in the UFC, his loss, or in boxing when Roy Jones fought Montel Griffin. He hit a downed opponent, they DQ'd him, and they ran the rematch, and Roy Jones beat the out of Montel Griffin. That is exactly, I didn't want to have to do this, but y'all made me. I didn't want to do this, Jim. I didn't want to have to turn back to old RJ. I would have, that boy by mistake. I try to tell you, Montel Griffin hit him with an uppercut. Bah, 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 bah. Don't do that. I was grabbing the rope. I wasn't grabbing the ropes, right? So for me, it's a pointless exercise. I don't know what they're going to rule. I don't really care. It's not going to hurt Tank's star power. Oh, he has a loss by DQ or he has a TKO. I mean, to me, boxing is getting soft. Bro, boxing is soft. There's been so many fighters on the wrong side of like a bad moment or judgment call, and it just comes with the sport. The boxing is like no other sport. It's real time. The referees, the fighters, everybody got to respond in real time. I've seen a fight where a dude was punching and his opponent was dodging everything. Not a punch landed, and then the referee put his arm around him and went like that and waved it at TKO. You can find it. You can find the video I'm talking about on YouTube, right? The guy didn't get touched with a single shot on the ropes, and he was dodging them. And then the referee, I don't know if it was the angle or whatever, but the referee thought he was getting hit with shots. They show you in replays and stuff, not a single shot was landing, and then he got a loss on his record by TKO. This is everyday stuff. People are turning this into a big deal. Like, the fight wasn't even that type of fight. Lamont Roach did cool. He did better than people expected, but the interpretation on this fight is corny to me. You want Lamont Roach to be the winner over A-side champion Tank based on a technicality, a blip. What does that do? Like, what does that really do for the health and sport of the boxing? This is not the first, and I want to stress it, not the first fight where a poor decision has been made. I mean, look at Canelo. I thought Lara beat him. Let's give Lara the win. If we just changing stuff, I thought Triple G beat him. Hell no, guys, ain't Max. It's a big drama show. It's guys, it's nothing. Triple G beat him in the first fight. Let's give Gennady Golovkin the record he deserves. the head no guys as Max is nothing. Let's give Triple G that win. If we're just going in after the fact and changing and moving things around. The referee made a decision. Instant replay wasn't used. Instant replay is fairly new to boxing anyway. It played out how it played out. You guys are crying about it. And I like it. I love watching y'all pain. Like, it's just fun for me. But for me, this ain't it. Run the rematch, may the best man win, and you move on. Steve Willis is not the last referee that is going to make a mistake or have a blunder blown call. It's a live sport in real time, human error. You do the best that you can in these situations, period. The other thing that for me becomes very stupid if you overturn it. Let me explain. I promise you I'm going to make a lot of sense. You just have to listen. If you're not willing to do such, you're a troll or whatever, that's cool. This ain't for you. The other thing that makes this very stupid for me is this, is in real time, if let's say the proper call, calling it a knockdown, even though a legal punch didn't land that caused that, and he explained why. So no one is even saying that they felt Tank Davis was truly hurt where he had to take a knee. It would actually make more sense if Roach landed a vicious body shot and Tank took a knee, because you got hit with a body shot. That's why you took the knee. Bro, none of that happened. So they just want Tank to have an L or a blemish or a DQ. Very corny. And again, Devin Haney's undefeated, but we just watched him get whooped by Ryan Garcia. Cool. Undefeated fighter, but the world knows what's up, and no one's looking at Devin Haney quite the same post-Ryan Garcia fight as pre-Ryan Garcia. So I don't even understand what this is supposed to do to Tank. But here's the big issue with it also. If you go in, retroactively and start moving things around and saying, oh, we told you in real time that it was a majority draw, but now Lamont Roach is the winner. Here's a major problem, and I know not one of you can explain and make it make sense in the comment section. If the proper knockdown call, as people are saying, was ruled in that 9th round, like took a knee, and first of all, he didn't get disqualified. It's just the referee didn't see fit to DQ him. He's in charge. So we'll just go off of if a point should have been taken. In real time, if Steve Willis said, hey, that's a knockdown, and took a point, Gervonta Davis, his whole team, would have the knowledge that you have a 10-8 round or a 10-9 round, right? So who's to say that round 10, 11, and 12, the remaining rounds of the bout, Gervonta and company, his team, would have had the same exact rounds and the same exact approach, knowing that, hey, the fight is maybe close, and then you just got a point deduction, basically, right? So it changes everything, and you're just to assume that Tank would have had the same round 10, 11, 12 if he knew that a point had been deducted. That doesn't even make sense, because most fighters, if they feel they're in a close fight and they get an actual 1 point, or an actual knockdown, they know, hey, now I got to step up. Now I got to have a sense of urgency. But if he ruled how he ruled in real time, then Tank could just stick to his regular game plan, because they never corrected it. They never said, hey, we watched instant replay. That was a knockdown. You have a point deduction. And this happened recently in the fight. I want to say it was Virgil Ortiz versus Boachuk. Or it was a Virgil Ortiz fight, I'm pretty sure. Initially, they said it wasn't a knockdown, but then they went to Virgil Ortiz's corner and said, we reviewed it. It was a knockdown. So Tank was never given that grace. Tank Davis was never given that opportunity and that knowledge Nobody came to his corner and said, A, we reviewed it, or Steve Willis in real time didn't say that's a knockdown. So without the knowledge of knowing that that counted against you as a knockdown, then it's unfair, because maybe that would have kicked Tank into overdrive, and then he went and fought different, and whatever happened, happened. But now we'll never know, because they never afforded him this opportunity. So to go and change it now is just stupid, because I know if I was down on the scorecards and I had Tank's power and they told me I was down or that counted as a knockdown, then I would get more aggressive. I would try to do things different. But no one ever said that to him. And then now after the fact, we're supposed to just assume the championship rounds remains exactly the same, when you're trying to deduct the point weeks, months later. Like it just sounds stupid. This boxing is looking soft, bro. Again, I get it. Some of y'all don't like Tank. You hate Tank. It was a blown call, and it should have been shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's what I think. So I don't think this will be overturned. But hey, I don't work for the commission. I work for Boxing Ego. So to me, this whole thing is just people crying and they want Tank blemished. The solution here is to do better next time, not let this happen again. Talk to Steve Willis, do employee training, hard-worn fighters, and run the rematch.